Hey, it's Mr. C with some Saxon math for you today. We're doing lesson 90 where we're measuring turns. So we're going to figure out how to measure turns, and then we're going to do a few word problems where we actually have to measure turns. Now, the reason this lesson is important is because we measure turns all the time. If you think about using a compass for orienteering, finding your directions to go something, we now have a lot of GPS devices, and even my watch will even tell me like what degree north and south I'm facing. But to find things using directions, this is an important lesson. And we also use these concepts in other things. So it's a good lesson to practice going through directions and through measuring degrees in turns, all right? So every hour the minute hand completes a full turn in a clockwise direction, this way, right? And when it goes all the way around, that's 360 degrees. So if you turn all the way around, that's 360 degrees. Now, if I only turn half that way, so if I start here and I go halfway, that's 180 degrees. If I only go a quarter of a full turn, that's 90 degrees. And that makes sense because 360 divided or multiplied by 1/4 of 360, that's the same as dividing 360 by 4, and 360 divided by 4 is 90. So a quarter turn is 90 degrees, where a half turn is 180 degrees, and then a full turn is 360. For some of you, that's going to be super easy to remember, especially if you play sports where you do turns, right? So in skateboarding, snowboarding, things like that, you want to be able to do a 360. That means you're jumping and you're turning all the way around. That's a 360. So for some of you, this is going to be really easy and natural. For others, it's going to take a little more work, but this really isn't too tricky. If you're facing north and you turn 90 degrees, you'll either be east or west. That makes sense. And if you turn 180 degrees from north, you'd be going south. Makes sense. All right, so here we're looking at Layla. She travels north. If north is this direction, let's say she's going that direction, and she turns 90 degrees to the left. Now we know 90 degrees is a quarter turn. So a quarter turn would be going from that to that direction, right? And she travels 1 block to the next intersection, and that intersection she turns 90 degrees to the left again, so that's still that direction. So now she's coming down that way. Which direction would she then be traveling? Well, she's going backwards from where she was traveling, so now she's south. Let's look at the map they did. They actually showed the degrees. All right, so we've got northwest, east, and then south. If you're not familiar, if you're still struggling with remember which way east and west is, again, it just takes practice. You'll get there. So she's going north, and she goes 90 degrees, and they actually show a 90-degree angle here. So now she's going this way, and then she turns 90 degrees to the left again, so they show another 90-degree angle, or a right angle. Okay, let's try another one. Andy and Barney, they were good friends, Andy and Barney. They're both facing north. So we've got 2 of them. Let's have Andy going north, Barney going north. All right, Andy makes a quarter turn, or 90 degrees, to face east. Now, if this is north, then this is going to be west, this is going to be east, this is going to be south, okay? So if he's turning 90 degrees, now Andy's going to be facing that way. While Barney turned counterclockwise, that's the other way, until he faced east. So he's turning in this direction until he faced east, so he has to turn almost all the way around. Now, if we measured that, we could look at how many 90-degree turns. So if he's here, we'd go 1 90-degree turn. Then from here to this direction, he'd be another one. And then to be facing east, he'd be going 1 more. So it's 3 90-degree turns. 90 times 3 is 270. All right, so that's how many degrees he'd have to turn. Let's see how they show it on a map. So they have that Barney started going north, and they just show that he went all the way around 3/4 of 360. So you just multiply 360 times 3/4, and that will give you 270. Okay? All right. Finally, as Elizabeth runs around each lap around a park, she makes 6 turns. So instead of going in fourths, now she's going in 6. So we're going to have a different calculation. So it's like going straight and going a sixth, which is not quite a fourth, right? And so she'd go and then she'd turn a 6 again. And she'd do that until she got around the park. If she does that, what's the average number of degrees? Now we can think about this mathematically. If each turn is 1 out of 6, or a 6th turn, then there's 6 turns out of that circle. We would just, to figure out what 1/6 is, a whole circle is 360 degrees, right? Going all the way around, it's 360. So if we break that into 6, it would just be 360 divided by 6. We know 36 divided by 6 equals 6, so it would just be 60 degrees. They'll show us here a way to kind of map that out. So if she turns and then turns and turns, there's 6 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 turns. And for each one, if you look at it, you can tell it's not quite 90 degrees. 90 degrees would be a right angle, right? So it's a little more than 45 degrees. But the easy way is just to do that mathematically. 360 divided by 6 is 60. All right. And that's it for today. So we're just going to practice with our measurements and doing directions. So you'll get some good practice with that today. All right. See you later.